We need to talk about the latest out of Leafs camp. Mike Babcock, no longer the head coach of the team, but still some drama surrounding his tenure in Toronto. Notably, early on, when Mitch Marner was a rookie, he asked Marner to rank the hardest and lowest working players on the team. After some hesitation, Marner named Nazem Kadri as the lowest, and Babcock took that to Kadri. The players seemingly hashed things out. It seems like now things are coming out more and more. So we bring in Elliotte Friedman, who I know spoke to Mike Babcock today. He said he's trying to do it as a motivational tactic, and he had apologized to Marner. What do you make of all of this, Elliotte?
Well, Faizal, I should correct one thing. It was a text exchange. I didn't speak to him directly.
Okay.
So I would say that. What do I make of it? Well, first of all, he shouldn't have done it. Like, there's no question about that. It was the wrong thing to do, and especially to a young player. Like, when you're a young guy walking into a dressing room of veterans, that's not the way that you ever really want to be introduced or made to feel part or not part of a team. It was a bad move, and I wouldn't support anybody doing that. I mean, I got to tell you, Faizal, I'm also not crazy about stuff like this coming out after somebody is fired. It's over in a lot of ways. Like, he's gone. And, I will say that there was a rumor about this when it first happened or not long after. And it wasn't flat out denied, but it was never anything that you felt comfortable you could go on. So I guess that, this is kind of the way it goes. Someone leaves and then all the truth comes out. But look, I don't support it. It was not a smart thing to do.
Is this maybe part of the reason the Babcock tenure was so, contentious for a while? He seems very old school versus a lot of young, new Leafs that, the style of hockey has changed. The way teams are made are changed. They're younger, they're faster, they're more skilled, they're different styles. Does this incident really speak to the divide between the two kind of generational hockey ways that are kind of clashing right now?
I don't even know if it's fair to say that.
Yeah.
I think, honestly, I think a generation ago, if you treated somebody like that, they'd still be mad at you, Faizal. I don't know if this is a generational thing. I think the whole Babcock Leaf thing fell apart for other reasons.
Okay.
It's obvious the coach and GM weren't on the same page. It's obvious that the tactics he were using didn't necessarily fit with the group. It's only been 2 games, and
right.
God only knows where this is going to go. But at least the way they're playing now seems to fit more in terms of the way they need to play. I don't think this didn't help, but it was 3 years ago. So I don't know if something that happened 3 years ago is still relevant. But obviously, it was something that really bothered Marner. Now, I know that some people have come up and said, is this why the contract dispute?
Right, and I was going to ask you about that.
Up?
Yeah,
that was purely over money. Like, that was not, obviously he wasn't a huge fan of Babcock's, but that was a money thing much more than it was this kind of thing. When other teams wanted to offer him, like Columbus, Marner made it very clear he wanted to stay in Toronto long term. So I don't know if I buy that it was a factor in the contract dispute.
and obviously it didn't really affect Marner's play. He was outstanding on the ice in those next couple seasons, including the end of that rookie season as well. What do you make about this in terms of what it means for the Leafs room right now? Because they're, like you said, trying to turn a new page and move on from the Babcock era. 2 games in, things look good. There's renewed joy amongst the fan base and seemingly amongst the players as well. I imagine, Elliotte, this is the last thing they kind of want to deal with.
Yeah, probably. I'm sure that there's people in management and stuff who aren't thrilled that this is coming out. Yeah. But, I don't think the players are going to be bothered by it. I think that it's pretty clear to me that there are some people who want to make it very clear as to why Babcock was fired. And, if you watch Marner today, it looked like he was content to get it off his chest, right?
Yeah.
So I don't expect it to bother the players in the least bit. I that they'll be fine with the fact that got out. I don't think that's going to bother them.
Well, Elliotte, we thank you for this. We know what's going to happen as soon as they hit the ice again. That will be the talking point. They just happen to have a couple days between games now, and maybe the worst timing for that as well. Well, we appreciate you joining us.
All right, Faisal, my pleasure.